Okay,
and may not be a part of the live session. All right,
I
so we
see.
are now recording. Good morning, everyone. My name is Stacy Love, and I serve as Assistant Vice President for Enrollment Outreach and Student Success here at John Carroll University. Thank you so much for joining us today for our virtual celebration. And this is our live question and answer session for the social sciences. So I appreciate all of you being here. Now, U.S. News and World Report ranks John Carroll #1 in teaching in the Midwest for 2020. That's because we strive for more than what's required academically, personally, socially, empower you to achieve what others see as improbable. We recognize that lifelong exploration connects us to endless discovery, wonder, and joy. So you'll graduate unafraid to pursue the unknown. So with that in mind, we have several highly rated faculty members here with us today. In addition to our wonderful faculty members, we do have some students and alum. So I'm going to share my screen so you all can see who our panelists are. And as I introduce them, I'm sure they will give a little wave. So we have Dr. Richard Clark, who's an associate professor and the chair of the Sociology and Criminology Department. Dr. Clark. We also have Dr. Phil Metris, who's a professor of English and the director of the Peace, Justice, and Human Rights Program. Dr. Medora Barnes, who is actually on sabbatical this semester. So Dr. Barnes, thank you so much for joining us. She's an associate professor of Sociology and Criminology, and she's also the director of the Gender, Sexuality, and Women's Studies program. We have Dr. Colin Swearingen, who is an associate professor of political science. And for our alum, Mariela van der Sluijs, class of 2019. She's a graduate with a degree in data science, political science, and communication. We also have Matt Longren, who's a political science and peace, justice, and human rights major from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And we have Alex Lafayette, who's a peace, justice, and human rights major, a political science and sociology minor, and she's from Grosse Ile, Michigan. All right, so with that being said, Roberto, go ahead and ask your question again, and we'll get started.
Okay, so how would a major in social sciences function with a major in, let's say, the sciences, let's say biology or environmental science, something like that?
Roberto, I'll give a shot at answering your question. If you and I were to talk, first thing I'd ask is obviously, what would you like to do and where do you see yourself going? But to answer your broader question, the beauty of a social science degree is that it'll teach you how the world operates. It'll teach you how people operate. It'll teach you some skills like Dr. Metris just talked about with Matthew and conflict mediation. It'll also teach you how to read and write and think critically. And if you look at the data down the road, social science majors, including English and history and humanity majors, actually move up the charts in the world. And by the time you move into your 40s or so, you will actually be making just as much, if not more money than people who are just straight science majors. And partly it's because we will give you the skills and teach you the talents and teach you the critical thinking and refine the skills that you bring to the table so that you can communicate with people, you can relate to people, you can work with people. Because if you really want to move up the charts in any organization, whether it's academia, whether it's the Cleveland Clinic, you've got to be able to relate to people, you've got to be able to communicate your ideas, and you have to be able to think critically out of the box. That's the beauty of a John Carroll education. That's the beauty of a social science education.
And I'll add
the social science.
Mariela, one of our alumni, is with us, and she actually has a degree in both the social sciences and data science, which isn't exactly biology, but still one of the hard sciences. So I think it'd be great to hear from her as to how she manages all of that in her current job.
Thanks, Dr. Swearingen. Yeah, so I graduated with data science as well as political science and communication. And it has actually worked really well for me because I work as a data analyst for a venture development firm, and they really liked that I had the hard skills that were needed for the job. But when I interviewed, they told me that a lot of the people they had interviewed had those hard skills, but they did not necessarily have the soft skills necessary to understand the context and the framework of which we were operating in trying to develop the trying to develop the economy of Northeast Ohio. And especially for me personally as a data analyst, I'm very much at the in-between point between the business and the data back-end system side. So having a degree in both has really helped me in uniquely positioning myself in a role that not many people can fill because I have both of those skills. And I have a lot of friends who've actually been combining science and social science degrees to make them a very unique candidate for lots of roles. So I have a friend who is combining biology with political science because she's really interested in the health sector and like developing the health sector. There's like much different ways, if you think outside of the box, how you can really make that combination unique to you and to what you want to do. And employers will really appreciate that because not a lot of other people tend to make those combinations. I hope that answers and helps your question.
Yeah, it actually does.
Yeah, can I actually add one other thing? Obviously, public health is, one of our top priorities as a country right now. John Carroll does have programming in population and public health. I'm on the advisory board for that. And certainly public health as a field is at the nexus of the social sciences and the natural sciences. And so that's one of the fields that you get when you combine those two things together. And so if you wanted to go on and do programming in population and public health at John Carroll, you would be taking classes such as epidemiology and biology at John Carroll, as well as taking classes in sociology, such as Introduction to Public Health, classes in sociology, in political science, in a wide range of fields to try to really get that background. So we do have programming in that, and that is one of the opportunities if you are interested in kind of where those two areas combine. As well as forensics is another one where you do see some intersection between natural sciences and social sciences.
Matt and Alex, can you guys both talk a little bit about your program and why you chose John Carroll?
I can go first. So like Stacy said, I am a peace, justice, and human rights major, and I am a sociology and political science double minor. And I can get to why I chose those in a second, but the reason why I chose John Carroll in general is because it was always in my view growing up because my dad went to John Carroll, but I, for a long time, was like, I can't go there because I have to be different. And then I realized that John Carroll is actually an amazing university, and I learned more about it, and I realized that at John Carroll, you're not just a nameless face in a crowd. You can have relationships with your peers and your professors, and you can really get that high quality, very personal education that also is very much about caring and dealing with the whole person and the whole system that the world works in. And so I actually picked PJHR at my incoming freshman celebration because I heard Dr. Metra speak about the program, and originally I planned just to be political science, and then I realized, wait, PJHR is my deal, and so I decided to go that route, and I have not regretted it a single time. And yeah, I don't know what else to say. Matt, it's your turn.
No, definitely. I echo Alex on a lot of that. For me, I'll start with why John Carroll. there's just something about it. Like, I don't know if you'll be able to, sadly, I don't know if you'll be able to fully experience it through these Zoom connections, but if you're on campus, you would feel it. There's just like a connection between the students, that whether you're walking down across the quad or whatever you're doing, or in class in the hallways, like even with professors, like you just feel a connection with a lot of people. And the second that I stepped on campus, like that really came alive to me. And the 3 years I've been here, like that has just continued to grow, and those connections have just continued to be made wherever I go on campus. And it's really turned into home for me. Like I'm from Pittsburgh, so leaving the state was a little bit hard for me because I'm a homebody, but I really feel like I found a second home up here, and I'm very grateful for all the connections I've made and the people I've met. And it really is it's a tight-knit community up here, which I'm really grateful for. And I can't wait to continue to grow in this, like in these connections I make for my last year here. So that's why John Carroll for me. So I'm a political science and PGHR major. I came in just originally political science. I was thinking law school, but then I took a class for the core requirement, Intro to Human Rights. And I started to see a lot of connections between my political science degree and potentially what a PGHR major would look like, because I think like I came in thinking law school, but PGHR kind of opened my eyes up to like international conflicts and stuff like that, and how governments in general, like with the role they play in bringing those conflicts to peace, and like the spreading like the respect of all human beings and stuff like that, which I think is also something that you're going to get and learn about at a Jesuit institution like John Carroll, which is really cool. So I decided to combine PGHR and political science. What's really nice about PGHR is that it's interdisciplinary. So you take a lot of classes like you take political science classes. I've taken a couple of sociology classes. There's a couple of psychology classes that count for PGHR. So it's really nice to take a wide array of classes and combine them with the others to make this degree in PGHR possible, because you get a wide range of perspectives and everything like that. So that's one benefit that I found, especially PGHR. And then also it's helped me grow in my pursuit of the political science degree, because I'm getting all these new perspectives and applying it to traditional international issues, domestic political issues, stuff like that. So it's been really cool being able to combine the two.
Yep, that pretty much answers my question. Thanks.
All right, other questions, anyone?
And you're welcome, of course, just to send questions on the chat, and we'd be happy to sort of pull them together, of course. Hey, Stacy, your cat is right behind you. Oh my God, it's so cool.
I know. Yeah, she has a question.
Quick question for my son. He'll be an incoming freshman. If he's not certain yet, which single or combo major minor he wants, is there enough in his first semester or year of core to just take and figure it out?
I can answer that from a student perspective. I say absolutely. There was a lot of my friends going into freshman year who had no idea what they wanted to do within social sciences and in general. And the core at John Carroll is truly the core, and you get to see all these different avenues that you could go down. And so if he doesn't have an idea going in immediately, definitely will within the first semester too, maybe, but yes, it definitely will provide that.
And so I guess my part two, because he does like social sciences, I guess my part two is just that, let's say he does decide, one semester or 1 year in exactly what he wants. Can he still finish in within the 4 years without declaring on day one?
Oh,
Absolutely.
Can I?
Yeah, most people don't declare until their second semester sophomore year. But no, you can absolutely stay on track and graduate on time. And what I would suggest he do is just reach out to any of us, reach out to any faculty member. Our doors are open. That's the beauty of a teaching school. And just sit down and talk about whatever he's interested in, whether it's political science, PJHR, sociology, gender women's studies, public health. There's wide options. And talk to faculty and explore. And you can double major, minor. As you see, we have several students who major, double minor. Most of our students do that, but they all graduate. Most of them graduate in 4 years.
Okay, one last question, I promise. So if he does declare and he stays in social sciences, are there some within the major that he could take online in the summer if he came home to Michigan? Or is it just just during the...
Yeah, there are some online classes. I don't want to say for sure about other departments. Sociology usually has a couple. I don't want to commit to things I can't control, but he should be able to, yes.
Can I actually add to that question too? So I do a lot of summer advising, and I just want to say that there's always a really good portion of students that come in as just exploratory students, whether or not they know, that they want to do social sciences or want to do humanities. And some students are just exploratory and they really have no idea. And I see students so stressed out by this every single year, and it's not something to be stressed out about. I think that students feel like everybody else knows exactly what they want to do with their life, and they don't. But really, so many students don't know, and we don't expect you to have it all figured out. That's really one of the things that college can be great about, because a lot of students don't have the experience with all the wide variety of jobs that are out there. And that's one thing that I think John Carroll really excels at doing, is providing all those opportunities to show you and to help you figure out what all those wide variety of jobs can be, and to kind of give you those experiences. So that's what the core is really great about. So if I was advising your son, for example, we'd sit there and say, okay, you're interested in social sciences. So let's think about what sorts of classes he could take that first semester that would help, meet those core requirements, but also tell me what you're interested in. Let's get him in a couple classes that might be possible majors for him, that would help, be making some progress toward graduation, but also really might, strike his interest. So that's what we do the first semester. And then the second semester, we reevaluate and say, what did you like? What did you maybe not like as much? And we go from there. And so it's just a journey that you're on, where every semester you're making progress toward your degree, and then you're also trying to learn more about yourself and what you really like and develop those skills. So it's a semester by semester, and some people come in and they know exactly what they want, and then they change their mind, and that's great too every semester. But we do a really good job of getting you through those 8 semesters and getting you out in 4 years. And it's personal advising every semester with a faculty member. So anyway, any questions that anybody would have, we're here to answer.
Thank you.
Can I speak to that real quick too? I just wanted to say, if it was like I said, I took that Intro to Human Rights class. I took that for a core requirement. So if it wasn't for that class, I would have never been introduced to what I'm looking to do now. Like I said, I came in thinking law school, but then I took this Intro to Human Rights class for a core credit, and I loved it and fell in love with it. So now I'm pursuing this different career path that's more tailored towards that. I'm thinking the Peace Corps after graduation. So if it wasn't for these core classes that you take, they are useful. So they do offer an avenue for students to navigate what they think they might potentially want to do. So definitely the course is flexible and offers a lot of insight. And the advice that I would give is to definitely take advantage of talking to your advisor, talking with professors, because they are really there for you to help you navigate along that path as you're going through. That's what's nice about having smaller class sizes and having advisors with less students to advise. You get to make those connections and make it a really personalized experience.
So we have one question on the chat, and I'm sorry, go ahead, Marielle.
Sorry, I just wanted to, because it's a little different, because I came in thinking communication, political science, this is what I'm going to do. And I did not consider myself a very sciencey person. And then I took some math and statistics classes within political science, and it turns out I had a pretty big affinity toward math that, in my sophomore year, I stumbled my way into the math department. So sometimes you're college career can take like a very drastic turn. Like I would have never gone to, like during these sessions, I was not in the math department session. I would have never considered myself going to the math department session, but I ended up making my way through there because of different exposures that I had at John Carroll, and a lot of students have had that, where you might find yourself being interested in something that you didn't really realize you had an interest in because of all that broad exposure.
Awesome, great. Okay, we have 3 questions on the floor. One from Angela. Her question is, how does AP coursework in high school figure into course selection for a political science major? Colin, Medora.
Yeah, as the political science professor here, yeah, it's very, very doable. So whenever you get your scores, and I know that traditionally those scores have been available sometime in, I think, early July, make sure you send all your AP test scores to the registrar's office. That way it gets added to your transcript, and those credits count and are counting for you. In political science, I think anytime you take the AP Gov exam, get a 3, 4, or 5, it will count toward Political Science 101, which is American politics. There are, of course, other classes that you could take AP that would count toward a variety of other things. One of the things I've noticed with students that when they take an AP exam and they get credits transferred into college is that it opens up additional pathways to them early on. It could be that you took a composition class, AP composition exam or literature exam, and you don't have to take English 125, our composition class. And that opens up additional classes in the core that have the writing and composition prerequisite. And so you can actually take some of those classes earlier on in your time at John Carroll. The other thing that AP classes will do, whether it's political science or any other major, is that those credits come in, give you flexibility to add additional majors. So you might, I mean, Mariela, I don't know if you had a whole lot of AP type transfer credits coming because I went to high school in the Netherlands, but zero, she ended up triple majoring. So, you know, if you're able to get credits counting toward introductory classes in a major, it actually helps you in the long run by getting opportunities for a major and a double minor, maybe double major and a minor or something along those lines. So if you're entrepreneurial in how you attack your schedule, you can really accomplish quite a bit, and AP classes can help with that.
Thanks, Colin. Lakin, you had a question?
Hello, sorry. So I was seeing how they have 90 organizations on campus, like student organizations, and I know a bunch of us interested in political science. I didn't know if they have mock trial or model UN, things like that, for us that want to do stuff like that who are interested in speech and debate. I was watching the communications video earlier, and I know they have speech and debate team, but I didn't know if they have mock trial or model UN. So I didn't know if that was an option on campus.
A couple of my friends actually do Model Arab League, which is, I'm fairly certain, like the same sort of situation as Model UN. I don't personally do it, but I know that there's that. There's, you know, different like political leaning organizations on campus. There's a lot of different student organizations that can further you in your major. Like it's a fun extracurricular organization, but also it applies to what you're doing in school. So yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
I actually did like all of them. Did 4 years of Model Arab League, which is Model UN, but for the Arab world, which is really cool because it, you know, you tend to get countries that you usually wouldn't get. So you have to debate from a completely different perspective and a lot from, you know, like Islamic law and all that stuff. And you have conferences in Southern Ohio and at Georgetown University in DC. I also did Model EU, which is political science class that you can do. It has one conference. It's basically the same thing, but for European nations. They also have a conference in DC. And then I also did speech and debate, which is completely different. That's more of the debate style you would get in high school when you're a part of a debate team. And I would highly recommend doing them because you learn so much. And they also look really good on grad school applications if you choose to go that route. A lot of people who have done Model Arab League or Model EU got into really good grad schools for foreign affairs or international affairs. Like a few off the top of my head, like Georgetown, George Washington, Cornell, like they all went to London School of Economics, like they all went to really great schools. So it's not just fun, but it also is a good resume booster.
All right, we have tons of other questions pouring in. Jack has a question. What types of internships are offered for forensics or criminology majors?
Hi, Jack. There's significant numbers. I forget off the top of my head exactly how many we have. Medora, if you know, feel free to chip in. But there are multiple internships that range from federal agencies, U.S. Marshals, ATF, et cetera, down to Cleveland PD. And we can pretty much work with you to find an internship that works for you. And what I would suggest you do when you get on campus is just come talk to me. I'm also in charge, quote unquote, that's the official title, of the criminology program within sociology. So short answer is there are multiple internship opportunities that cut across lots of different things. I'm pretty confident we can find something that would work for you.
Cool, thank you.
There's a question. Thanks, Dr. Clark. There's a question from Emma who wants to major in political science and minor in peace, justice, and human rights. The question is, what will graduate school offer that her undergraduate degree would not? Is grad school necessary? Oh, great question.
I mean, the very short answer to that is that some of these degrees require further kind of pathways into different fields. So for example, if you wanted to get a counseling degree, you would need to get that. If you're, in sociology, if you're doing peace, justice, and human rights and got really passionate about mediation, you probably want to get a certification in that. So it really all depends on the professional pathway within majors that people would be interested in. I'll just keep it at that. So there's a lot of time to figure all that out, and we'd be happy to walk you through.
Okay, looks like we have another question about the 3+3 program with case law. Alex wants to know how flexible that program is.
Can I take this for a second? We actually offer a couple different 3-3 programs. So there's the 3-3 in law. We also have different extended programs in social work also. So I was going to say with all of those, Colin mentioned this too, it definitely depends on whether or not you're bringing in any credits as far as AP classes. And then it also depends on how many classes you take per semester. And then it also depends on whether or not you're trying to combine other minors and things like that. So that ends up being a really individualized question. But certainly those programs are really popular. The best thing to know is if you think that you're doing it is to sit down with somebody your first semester so you can really map that out, because you're trying to finish your core and your major within 3 years, and then your fourth year is the year that you start graduate school, and then that fourth year is kind of the overlapping. But those are really exciting programs that I know a lot of students end up really interested in. We're excited to have those pathways here at John Carroll.
All right, guys, so our session is wrapping up. There are sessions that begin at 11:30, so students, if there's something else you need to jump on at 11:30, please feel free to log off and do so. There's the biochem and pre-health program, computer science, data science, math, exercise science and sports studies, business and engineering, and psych. Also the Department of Communication. So those are all at 11:30. So thank you for joining us if you need to jump off and join those sessions. Don't forget, also at noon is the Bowler Professional Development Program live session and the Center for Career Services. 12:30, there's a session for commuter students and Res Life. And at 1 o'clock for you students is our admitted student reception. So that should be lots of fun. You'll get to meet a lot of students there. So for those of you that are still on, there's a question from Logan, who asks, how can the concentration course for poli-sci, like applied politics, build a student's degree and possible internship or career opportunities?
Yeah, so hi, Logan. I actually worked in politics before coming to John Carroll, and so I've helped to create the applied politics concentration. The goal with concentrations within a major in general are to provide you with a cluster of courses that are related to what that area might be. So if it was applied politics, the goal is to give you experience working in politics through internships or specific classes that kind of teach you how things work in that context. If you were to do another concentration such as law and society, it would be a variety of courses that help you get prepared for writing briefs in law school or something like that. So the concentrations can be very useful for helping you pinpoint where you might want to go and provide different networking opportunities for internships and jobs. So those are great things to consider. And when you do summer advising at John Carroll to get your schedule set up for the fall semester, definitely talk with the faculty member you're assigned to about those kinds of things that you want to do. And I know Alex also had something she might want to address with that as well.
I was just going to say that from a student perspective, those foundational program courses, oh, sorry, my dog, they're very, like, they're the foundation for a reason, and they help you, set up and build on top of that. And like I said, they're a foundation for a reason, and you need them in order to understand what you're doing in general. So that's all I was going to say.
Okay, final question, if someone could answer. Annika asked the question about the law school summer internship program in Chicago. How difficult is that to get into? Any faculty know that?
Can you clarify what program in Chicago?
The law summer internship program.
Colin, do you know it?
I know that the communications department does their summer internship program, and I know that their network is pretty vast and extensive. I am not certain as to the number of credits that are required to be a part of that. Dr. Peggy Finucane is the chair of the communications department. That might be of help. But I will also say that we've actually had students that do a lot of internships in law programs in various law offices across political science and sociology. And they take interns at all levels. And so if you want to get involved in that, whether it's Chicago or Cleveland or anywhere else, people are looking for help, no doubt.
If I could add to that, Gene Colleran, our former dean and provost, is now at Loyola University in Chicago, and they have established an international rule of law program, which is based in Loyola and based in Rome. Because she had such an affinity to John Carroll, she has established a position for one of our students to get reduced tuition to go to that program. And we have a student who I believe is committed to it this fall. So that's another option down the road. It's a pretty interesting program. Alex, did you have some comment on that?
I was just going to say, the student who is going to go due to, having a compromised immune system and the COVID-19 outbreak is not going to go anymore, but she is actually deferring, and I'm going to be applying to that program. So hopefully, if I get in, then we'll be roommates. So I just wanted to say that, yeah.
But it looks like a really fascinating program, and there are slots that are dedicated for John Carroll students. So folks interested in human rights issues, folks interested in law issues, there's an option down the road.
All right. Well, thank you all so much for joining us. I know you have other sessions to jump on to. Like I mentioned in the chat, if you have additional questions, feel free to reach out to any of us or to your enrollment manager, and we can connect you with any faculty members. We're also doing virtual personalized visits. So if you want to sit down one-on-one with a faculty member via Zoom, we can set that up for you as well. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Enjoy the rest of the virtual celebration.
Good to see you.
Goodbye and be well.
Thanks,
Take
everybody.
care.
Thanks, Stacy.
Bye, guys.
Bye, all.
I got kicked off the
Yeah, I saw your email.
Yeah. Power went out. All right. Take care. Have a great day.
Okay. Bye-bye. Happy
Bye.
Saturday.
Thanks.